All right, we're our stream here cut out. We did get the interview with Bud recorded. We'll actually post that later to Facebook. It'll be a good video anyway, so we'll do that. We're gonna keep jumping right into this, keep flowing through. Just a reminder that you can find the Steve Summers Overnight Drive live each and every weekday from the Hot Shot Secret Studio from midnight to 5 a.m. Eastern. It's all over on Rumble, Facebook page. All the podcast, and check out the website overnightdriveradio.com. A great way to get through your overnight. They got live call-in at 844-844-3388. Believe it, I can remember that or not.
Good memory.
Good memory. Be sure to stay in the loop on everything going on here at Hot Shot Secret by signing up at hotshotsecret.com/email. Be the first to see our specials, up and coming information, all the good things there. And speaking of specials, I got a couple retail specials going on right now as well. Over at Love's, you can buy 2 Diesel Extreme 2 quarts. 2 Diesel Extreme 2 quarts, so that's a gallon. And get $10 in rewards now through April 30th. And at Pilot Flying J, fill up over there and get your EDT. The quart size, buy 2 of those and get 800 bonus for My Rewards points through Pilot, now through April 30th. So you got 2-step fuel treatment. And if you're at neither one of those, stop by your local AutoZone to get $7 off a 2-quart bottle of Diesel Extreme. That's a heck of a deal.
And if you don't have any of those, then you're out of luck.
You're out of luck. There's like 6,000 AutoZone locations. I think you'll find one close by.
Yeah.
On top of all those other things. Events. Reason why Kyle's not here. He is actually out on the road heading to Arizona for the first NHRDA event. NHRDA is back, as we said. So they'll have drag racing, show and shine. They got truck and tractor pulling as well. The whole skew of things. And it's this weekend, April 14th and 15th at Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park in Arizona. I believe it's right outside of Phoenix. And you can also catch the action on Diesel TV as well. They broadcast the polling and the drag racing on Diesel TV.
Nice. It's going to be a toasty week for that.
It is. Chris, who works with Kyle, looked a little red already today when I was walking behind him coming in. I go, you look kind of red. I said, you are going to be cherry red when we get back from Arizona.
SPF 100 for that.
Yes. Also, another big event going on down south is the Texas Truck Jam that we're sponsoring. We would not have a booth there, but they're at the Texas Motorplex. Wish all those guys, Josh and the whole crew there, good luck putting on that event. They put on an awesome event. Unfortunately, it's tough for us to cover multiple events at once, but still happy to sponsor that for them. And if you're in that area, that's a great event to check out if you want to see anything about Diesel. They do a great job with that. All right. And as I reminded you before on the earlier edition of this video, that we select a winner. So enter at hotshotsecret.com/giveaway. And as a bonus, if you comment before the end of the show, we will send you a t-shirt as well. This week's winner is
Kale Padina.
Kale Padina. So Kale, if you are on, give us a comment and we will throw in a shirt for you as well. All right, let's jump into it.
All right.
EDT. Since you're going to pull.
So, to start off with EDT, Everyday Diesel Treatment. That's our main staple fuel product right now that use it at every fill-up. It's a 6-in-1. It does really well at keeping your fuel system clean, keeping the fuel stabilized, dispersing any moisture. 2 very important ones are the cetane bonus and the lubricity. And then for the final one is the fuel injector cleaner and rust and corrosion inhibitor, actually. That's Both work.
Now you got all 6.
Now I got it.
Now you got all 6, yes. So how often should we use EDT? What's the dosage?
So you should use EDT just about every time you fill up. Realistically, there's not going to be any issues or any harm doing that. Using a diesel extreme every 6,000 miles is also very useful. That's sort of our
It's a deep clean of the injector.
deep clean.
So it's like, so this is like the maintenance of your injector. So you got,
Exactly.
there's a little bit of cleaner in here, enough to help keep things somewhat clean.
Yep.
But as a good flush to the system every 6,000 miles, we recommend we do a deep dive clean with diesel extreme.
Exactly. You got the deep clean, and then you got the keep clean.
All right. And one of the things so we want to treat the actual fuel, right? Because we're not treating the tank or the engine or the component. We have to
Exactly.
actually, that's why we use it every fill up.
Every fill up, and preferably before you actually fill with fuel. If you put it prior, then you get a proper mixing. Everything's perfectly mixed in the tank, ready to go.
Okay. If not, it's not too bad because we got fuel coming back in from the return line, going to help
Exactly,
circulate it.
yeah.
And then there is no anti-gel in this, so
Exactly, yeah. There is no anti-gel in the EDT plus LX4, so we have the EDT plus winter defense formula that contains an anti-gel in there, as well as all these 6 other properties of EDT.
so it becomes a 7-in-1.
Exactly, 7-in-1.
All right.
One other thing I didn't touch on was
Yes.
LX4. LX4 is an independent product, but we also use that in EDT and EDT plus winter defense. So if you'd like, you could use that product on top of the other 2, or 3 if you include diesel extreme, and get even more of a lubricity bonus, which is perfect for the CP4 pumps.
Right. So those that aren't familiar as much with what goes on with fuel, diesel, the ultra low sulfur diesel, when they took the sulfur out of it, the sulfur acted as a lubricity component. And
Removed oxygen,
Oxygen
and
and-
nitrogen as
yeah,
well,
which all
vital.
acted as lubricants, basically.
Exactly.
It wasn't necessarily that was the lubricant component, but it acted as a lubricant in
Yeah.
fuel. And all your pumps, injectors, there's no oil or anything in there. The only lubricating fluid is the actual fuel itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's why it's harmful when you run your tanks low and you got air in the lines and stuff, because that's where you have no fuel and you can have potential issues with metal on metal wear, basically, because you got
Exactly.
no fluid in there. So what LX4 does is it drops the wear scar, which is how we measure the lubricity of fuel, get it to a safe level. And
Exactly,
so how does the engine manufacturers kind of state that?
So right now, with the current specification, they do things based off of a wear scar, based off of ASTM certified testing. Really, you're going to start out with around a 600. 600 is completely after the refinery. Nothing has been added to it. From there, jobbers, people that the big stations or even little stations will buy fuel from, they'll add just a little bit in there to get it in a specification.
So the U.S. government says it's supposed to be a 520 or below.
Somewhere, yeah. It has to be at the 520, which still is not well performing at all.
Where the Engine Manufacturers Association says 460.
Exactly, 460. And as well as the UK. UK says 460,
Yes.
480 for their spec. But with LX4, you go from the 600 to the 520. And then you go down from the 520 after the jobbers to a 280. So we're dropping it way below what anyone even requires. We're providing the most lubricity from what I've seen in our testing that something on the market provides.
Right.
That's just for my perspective.
So we have enough LX4 in there. It's been formulated with enough LX4. So even if it, for some reason, that fuel didn't get treated at the refinery, we still get it below even that 460 mark, correct?
Exactly.
So that's what we've done with that. And that's in the EDT itself. You can do, if you're just a lubricity guy, you could do just LX4.
Exactly.
If you want a little extra insurance and lubricity, by all means, add a little more LX4 on top.
Yeah, and it's both of the EDTs as well, the winter one and the summer dose.
And I always get this question. So treat rate is 1 or 2 ounces per 25 gallons.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Why should I use one over the other?
So really, it's going to come down to the amount of lubricity that the number is going to provide. It's directly related to the treat rate, as well as it's going to come down to injector cleaner. Um, it's going to cetane bonus as well. Basically, if you use the higher dose, you're going to get an increased benefit.
You're taking your fuel to even a better level.
Exactly. Yes.
And when people come to me, I always say test it out in your application because depends on the base fuel you start out with,
Yep.
how your truck reacts to cetane necessarily, and how you're using it too.
Yep.
If you're just driving around, the 1 ounce might be a good dosage for you, but you might also find out if I put the 2 ounce in, I see enough returns that it's actually helping with fuel economy.
Exactly. It really is. You can map it to exactly what works for you. So it really is great for that.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. The other thing, another benefit of cetane, so it does two things. Helps with starting, so it actually, diesel start quicker. The other thing is, when we burn the fuel more completely, we have less soot, which helps with the newer DPF system. Can you explain a bit more about that and some of the research we found on that?
So we've done actually a few case studies with the city of Columbus, on school buses and as well as other independent fleets, showing that this is particularly with diesel extreme, but it also applies to our EDT formulas. Using the diesel extreme and EDT allows for a more complete burn. So you'll get something in diesel fuel called asphaltenes, or just the heavy things that weren't properly distilled out during the refinery process. When these things do not fully burn, when they're just run through a diesel system after the refinery, and then you get something left behind like coking and carbon deposits in the combustion chamber, in the exhaust system, exhaust valves especially. You get all of these things left behind that over time build up, clog up your DPF system, and then eventually it'll get to a point to where you may need that system taken off, or you'll have to go through frequent regenerations, which costs a lot of money and fuel. So our product, cetane, first off, just increases the volatility of the fuel. As soon as it combusts, it is a very complete combustion on top of the lubricity provided from LX4, which is just a perfect combination. The combustion is full, which actually removes all those asphaltenes and carbon deposits. And then you also have the injector and fuel system cleaner that gets rid of anything that was left behind prior to the treatment. So it's just
so we have a more. So when you have clean injectors, you have a better spray pattern. The finer it is, the easier it is can burn completely. And what we found was, just in a dyno test we did, was we ran EDT in a vehicle and looked at the amount of soot put off by it. It actually reduced it by 50%.
Exactly. Yes.
And then we have a case study where we worked at the city of Columbus on a couple different trucks. They reduced our annual regens on these vehicles from 36 down to 6, which is actually an 83% decrease in DPF regens. So, and really, since we know how expensive that DPF system is, essentially, we know we're doubling the life of it just by the 50% reduction in the amount of soot we're putting through the system.
Exactly. And, saving money on fuel just from not going through those regens.
And not needing much DEF fluid as well.
Exactly.
So it's all cost savings. Perfect. I appreciate that explanation. I have a question from Mark. He's in California. We're starting to see more B20, R95, R99, and less number 2. Do we have any data with EDT and these other fuels as far as, you didn't really say what kind of test, but have we ran any testing on any of that stuff?
So we have. First note, biofuel does get a very bad rap. Renewable, not so much. Both of them are great fuels. There's just some caveats to them. There's some things you have to watch out for. EDT fixes really the only issues you're going to run into with that. First one is stability. When biofuel especially, but renewable over time, when they sit in your tank, people will have diesel trucks that they drive to a parking lot and they leave there when they go to their actual rig hauling stuff around. Mm-hmm. So that setting in there is terrible for it. However, EDT's fuel stabilizer actually does really well at preventing resin deposits, which are common from bio-based fuels. It's just the bio component. It's made from plants. Plants create resin. It'll sit to the bottom of your tank. I mean, I've seen images of it where, it's just this brown, thick coat at the bottom of the tank that you cannot do anything about. So it's definitely a preventative product, but the injector cleaner and fuel system cleaner also does well at getting rid of that resin. So that's with biodiesel. Renewable diesel is, to me, the best fuel on the market that you can buy for your vehicle. It performs really well in the cetane department. It performs really well in lubricity department. But, it still can be vastly improved by EDT plus LX4. That wear scar still goes down to that 280. Granted, it starts off at around a 340, 350, but I mean, you're still getting an improvement there. So you also get the stability and corrosion protection. One thing I also didn't note on. Yep, you just want that corrosion inhibitor to be polar and stick to the metal components and then prevent water from touching it. So,
Trent on Facebook, he says, at what temperature should I switch from anti-gel to EDT? I'm in Michigan where the temps are 30 to 40 degrees.
That's right around the threshold. Around 35 degrees is what we recommend to switch over from EDT with LX4 to EDT plus winter defense. And that's purely because, 35 degrees, you're not at too much of a risk of that fuel freezing. But if you get a cold snap in the middle of the night or something like that, it could very easily drop to that point where it freezes.
Absolutely. And the other thing about running EDT plus winter defense, you can actually run it all year round. Absolutely. It's just costing you more money. Yep. So if we're in this in-between period, there's no reason to, risk having an issue with freeze up or gelling. You might as well leave it in, run it a bit longer, and then you can switch over to EDT when we're in good temps. I know it's a tough time of year.
Yeah.
Seems like spring, it really just sprung around here, at least in Mount Gilead.
Exactly.
We got another comment from Matt. He says, I live in Western Michigan and switched EDT today in his M1009 with a 6.2 diesel. Okay. As long as you're above 30, you shouldn't worry about fuel gelling. Absolutely. That's pretty much. And then the other thing is, too, a lot of the fuel jobbers, if you're living in these colder climates, will have some sort of anti-gel in it already.
Yeah.
It may not be the best protection, but when we're in these warmer temps, it should be good. But you never know when they start switching. They switch quicker to try to save a few pennies on their side. Yeah. Then you get caught in a cold snap, and you have a lot of issues.
Yeah, the main thing that they'll do is they'll mix number 1 diesel with number 2. And number 1 diesel is actually just kerosene. So kerosene right now is expensive, like $10 a gallon. So there's definitely a profit there for them to switch early. So that's just something to be aware of.
Yeah. What else am I missing about EDT? You think is important from the R&D side?
The main thing is cetane bonus and lubricity. We already covered those two, but really just storage application. I feel like that's one that doesn't get touched on a lot. We talk about
we are coming into farming season, and a lot of people getting out and doing construction even as well. Yeah. But EDT is a great product to put in a bulk tank. You can bulk trade. Yep. So throw it in there now. You got all those benefits. Plus we got the storage in there. Yep. Rust and corrosion inhibitor in a steel tank makes a lot of sense to me, and you're good. So for my ag folks, I recommend treating your whole bulk tank with EDT. Yep. And then I usually put away the tractor at fall or equipment at fall with diesel extreme in the tank when I fill up. Yep. So that we're got a little extra stability in that equipment tank, but then we start the season off with cleaning the injectors right away. Exactly. I do the same thing at spring. When I think I'm going to be on my last tank of fuel, I'll start running some diesel extreme in that tank of fuel. And that way when I put it away, it's got some diesel extreme in there. We'll start the fall again with clean injectors if that equipment's going to sit over a long period of time.
It sounds like a good treatment plan. It definitely works.
It does. My dad noticed how much combine will start so much quicker. He said he used to crank on it with EDT. He says, I barely touched the key. Cetane.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But it's an older machine, so.
Yeah, they're just finicky.
Just finicky.
It's got character.
Yeah, character, yeah. So just a quick recap. EDT, 6-in-1,
6-in-1.
cetane boost,
Yep.
lubricity,
Yep.
rust and corrosion inhibitor,
Yep.
water dispersant,
Got that one.
fuel stabilizer, and a keep clean level of injector cleaner.
Exactly.
All right.
And then EDT plus winter defense. Just add that cold flow property on there.
Yep. Use it when it gets below 30, 35 degrees, somewhere in
Yeah.
there. Yep.
Especially if you're projecting, colder temperatures.
Right.
So,
Right. And use it every fill up.
every fill up. Yeah.
EDT's 1 to 2 ounces per 25 gallons.
Mm-hmm.
EDT plus we double it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then diesel extremer 6,000 miles of deep clean.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, we covered it. Chad, what do you think? You like this? All right. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. That next giveaway will be up soon on our website. So go to hotshotsecret.com/giveaway. Get signed up for our next giveaway. Chad, what are we giving away? What's our next show? RV. Oh, you got an RV bundle for us to give away? Nice. Can we go outside and do that one? We should. Do you want me to get an RV and? Okay, maybe we'll work on it. Inside the RV. There we go. I could probably make that happen. It'd be fun. Maybe we'll try that for next time. So, hope everyone has a great weekend. I know it's only Wednesday, but if you're out west, entice you to check out the NHRDA event out in, near Phoenix, or the Diesel Truck Jam as well in Texas at the Texas Motorplex. If you can't make it to the NHRDA, watch it on Diesel TV. Hope you all have a great weekend. Be sure to drop us any additional comments. We'll try to answer those after the show as well.
Yep.
Always reach out to us. Always happy to help. Logan's one of our main guys when it comes to Q&A stuff too.
Yep, exactly.
So
if
you don't like the answer you got, blame Logan.
Yeah.
If you like the marketing
call in.
support you got, thank me. So everyone have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.